Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Australia have just embarrassed the Springboks. And Springboks very lucky to score 2 late tries to make it 25 points at 17, because that was without a doubt the worst Springbok performance we've seen since the 57-0 against New Zealand all those years ago. The Springboks are now in crisis. They are in crisis mode. And it's not a knee-jerk reaction, because there have been signs of this, but there have also been signs that there's no need to panic. You know, there were signs of this during 2 poor Welsh performances, but there was a very good Welsh performance. There was a very good New Zealand performance followed by a New Zealand performance where there were aspects that had to improve. But today, the Springboks were blown away by an Australian side which were coming off the back of a massive loss against Argentina. It is not good enough. There are a lot of players in that side who are being picked on reputation and are not pitching up and earning the right to represent the Springboks. There are players there who are getting caps that are not deserving them. And it's not just players who are new, for example. There are players who have been there for years and years and years who are not deserving of their spot right now. And this has to be a catalyst for change. This has to be a wake-up call for a lot of these players that if they don't shape up, they've got to ship off. And there are lots of players on this list after that performance, because it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing performance. How Australia cut through our defense, how we still cannot score tries up until the last 10 minutes, where Quokka Smith has to basically do it all himself and score 2 tries at the end. And to be honest, even the bench, not phenomenal performances from a couple of people. So things have to change. And this coaching staff, who have been under a lot of pressure already, are now going to be under serious pressure to make changes. Because if they don't, then the cause to have them sacked, the cause for them to be removed, will be justified. And it was the worst possible start. We literally conceded in the first minute. As usual, they went down the middle with a kickoff, and we can't, I don't know what it is. As soon as we go down the middle, we panic. Peter Toy using both restarts down the middle. They turned possession over. They went over Fraser McWright in the first minute. There was then a pretty 50-50 penalty. I actually don't think it was 50-50. I don't think it was a penalty in the 6th minute, where Australia managed to extend their lead to 10 points. The Boks actually then dominated possession, territory, and gain on advantage for the next 25 minutes. But they couldn't capitalize. Scrum penalty after scrum penalty, more penalties, but they couldn't score a try. Dwayne Vermeulen very intelligently got Tom Wright sent off in the 29th minute. They were down to 14 men. We still couldn't score a try. Handré Pollard also couldn't kick anything. If Handré Pollard, for example, had pitched up with his kicking boots today, the final score today would have been 25 points to 23. But he kicked horrendously, like shockingly bad, and played terribly, in my opinion, as well. And if he starts again next week, it's a problem for me. Because you can't be leaving. They weren't even difficult opportunities. And then we went to half-time with a bit of momentum. We actually felt we hadn't gotten reward for our efforts, but we were very much on top in terms of which team had the momentum and the dominance and the gain on advantage. And what do? We concede in the 46th minute with probably one of the worst attempted tackles of Pollard I've ever seen. Corbett from a standing start just takes a step to the left, and Pollard just goes down and just sort of falls over. And Corbett goes over and says, "Thank you very much." And then with Fraser McWright went over in the 56th minute, just running through our defense without even being touched. And that was really it. And an extra penalty, and suddenly we're 27 points to 3. 25 points to 3. They'll leave by 22 points at a stage. Quokka Smith then went over in the 74th minute. Alton Yankees added the conversion. Quokka Smith over in the 79th minute. Jane Henderson added a quick drop goal, but it didn't matter. If you look at the stats, for example, 56% possession for Australia, 44% for the Boks. 3 tries to 2, so Australia won't get a bonus point, but we also won't get a bonus point for coming within 7. And the frustrating thing is, all of a sudden, in the last sort of 10 minutes, we actually started to play a bit of rugby. But if you look at the stats, it tells a story of a game which the Boks weren't at the races, and a lot of players need to take accountability. PSF Toy, probably the worst game I've ever seen him play for the Springboks. Absolutely horrible. For World Player of the Year, where is our World Player of the Year? Where is the world-class Pollard that we had? Where is the Mapimpi that's so good in the air, that is so dangerous when he's got ball in hand? Where is it? Because we didn't see it today. Even Lekanya had a quiet day. Where is the Damien Delendi of old? It's so frustrating because it's not just. I mean, Joe Strait was horrible today as well. I don't think we'll see him again this tour. I think we might see him at end of year tour if he's lucky, but he's going to have to go back to Stormers to earn his place again. But there are far too many players who are experienced that didn't pitch up today. So Ultimate Rugby stats are a little bit different. They've got the box with more possession. But if we look at the meters being run, we ran more meters, we beat more defenders, we had more clean breaks, we had more gain line carries, we had more passes, more offloads, but we couldn't score a try. We can't finish. That's the thing. We cannot finish. We don't know how to finish. We had 5 turnovers, 1 to their 6. They kicked more than we did. Fun fact. We tackled, I mean, they operate at 75% tackle success rate. We operate at 87% because when they did score tries, it wasn't even missed tackle, so they just strolled through. 60% goal kick success rate. That's a joke. Lineouts were poor, 80, but I mean, Australia's were actually much worse. And our scrums were much better. So this is the frustrating thing. You know, they conceded more penalties. Their lineout was worse. Their scrum was worse. We beat more defenders. They made fewer tackles and missed more tackles. And yet we couldn't score tries. So it wasn't even like it was a sensational Wallabies performance. It was just that bad from the Springboks. Things have got to change. The coach staff have to take accountability. They have to put their hands up and say, we got it wrong. We need to start seeing changes. And we need to start seeing them now. Because if this is not a catalyst and we don't start learning from this, we are in trouble in a year's time. Let me know what you think of the Get Matched down in the comments below. Smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.